There's one case that I love it. Slaughterhouse.
Slaughterhouse like โรงเชือดเหรอ
ใช่ There's a lot of people, different kind of people that you need to talk to. And some people are like, can I speak to Australian only? Hold on. School is a nightmare for me. I cannot say anything because my parents, they didn't know. They're gonna know, oh, I'm a gay kid and I don't want to deal with that drama. That's why I think a lot of กระเทยคือเป็น straight A student because you cannot do anything apart from like just pay attention to the classes and stuff. If you produce good content, benefit to someone, the platform will give you same. This platform, you don't need to be a famous person or celebrity or things like that. If you can laugh at your video, so other people can too. So.
This is Community Featuring. My name is Vic and welcome to the show. And also welcome to Pride Month, everyone. This month, the Standard Community is celebrating the month of Pride by talking to some members of the LGBTQ community, especially those we know and love their work. And for this person who is appearing on the show today, we have been following him for quite a while now, and it is so glad that we get to talk to him in real life today. And I gotta say, he's made a very great first impression already today. So let's go talk to him now. สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีค่ะสวัสดีค่ะพี่บิ๊ก
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I love your hair.
I know, right?
And definitely blue's your color.I can tell. Is this your like lucky color or just the color that you like?
I just love blue.
Okay.
And blonde.
Oh.
I know. I grew up with Gossip Girl.
Oh, okay.
XOXO.
Oh, all right. So, do you have like the lucky color chart for you
I actually
to check?
used to follow that.
Okay. But not anymore?
No.
Okay.
It doesn't make any sense anymore to me. Shit's happened still to me. Oh fuck, can I? Oh shit. Oh wait.
Of course.
Can I say those
Of
words?
course you can do that because of course hashtag อังกฤษหยาบๆใช่ไหมครับ
Sorry. Yes.
But actually I've learned that your hashtag English on อังกฤษหยาบๆภาษาอังกฤษหยาบๆ
Right.
The หยาบๆ part is not necessarily means like rude or vulgar.
Not really. But it means back then there are plenty of English creator like teaching all of that content and they come up with a lot of fancy videos and all of that. And then but my video is really really หยาบๆมากๆ in terms of like editing and stuff because on the platform you don't need to do all of that. Because it's very easy. You just like press the record button and keep talking and put some words in there. So it's very easy and very แบบง่ายๆหยาบๆมากๆ That's how I started.
Yeah, but it's very real. It feels real
It's
and
so
authentic.
Yeah,
right?
very much.
Yeah, and actually if you just use TikTok, you can just go on TikTok and there's all the tools that you can use already. You don't have to like buy something extra either.
No, it's already there. Everything that you need to create one video, even quality video or whatever, it's already there. And people there, TikTok audience, they love something real. Because they've been watching a lot of fancy stuff outside of the platform. So I think this is a place that they want to see something that they've never seen from some other places.
Like very real.
Super.
It's very relatable too. It's like, oh, okay, this is exactly the kind of video that I can also produce.
Exactly. That's how it started. But wait, this is podcast.
Podcast is also video.
Okay. Okay. I don't know. Okay, let me say something.
Okay.
I was skeptical to do podcast.
Really? Why?
My voice. I don't know. Is my voice low, unclear, and camp? Of course, you can tell it's so gay. and when you speak. people don't really catch your word. It's like you're mumbling and stuff, right?
Okay.
This is my problem, and
see.
that's why I'm like, people gonna catch my word or not because of my voice and the way I talk.
I see.
And then I said of like, okay, I try to speak clearer, but in terms of I'm yelling like now, like right now, I'm yelling,
Okay.
but I'm not. So it's just so you know, yeah.
So like this is you trying to be clearer with your voice.
Exactly.
Okay. Oh, good. Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, it's fun. Like podcasting or like video is like all the same too.
Yeah.
I mean like whatever people like. Yeah. And I think your 2 million followers on TikTok appreciate seeing your face and seeing you in action as well.
Right.
So it's not just your voice. Yeah.
Finally.
Everything all together. Yeah, and makes it fun.
Yeah,
all right.
thank you.
Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, I think I started seeing your video popping up on TikTok just around like the time of COVID.
Right.
And it's like all the TikTokers that they were born during those times, right?
A lot of stars.
Yeah.
I'm
ดาว
one of them.
TikTok
ดาว TikTok
หลายท่านนั้น you included of course.
Right.
Yeah. What was happening with you around like COVID time?
Well, I started my channel before a little bit before COVID time, I would say. And it was so random. It's just in the middle of the night and I just like, keep watching TikTok, being audience and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I pressed the record button by mistake. And oh my God, who is this? All the filter and stuff. I'm like, oh. And then I was like, okay, let me do something. I tried so hard to do like lip singing, dancing back then. I can't.
Because we were watching all those like TikTokers doing their stuff and we try to, maybe I can do that.
Yeah.
So you can like give it a whirl.
Right.
Okay. And how did it turn out?
Nobody watched me dancing or lip singing and all of that. But on that night, I was like, okay, I want to say this word. Today it's one of those days. Like, I want to say this word, but okay, let's me just teach some word because that's my background.
Okay.
I work in a English and education industry. I was like, okay, I know a little bit of this and that. Now, okay, let me teach this word. Bitch. Beep. B-I-T-C-H ออกเสียง B-H bitch.
What a nice word to start with. I mean, whoa.
I know.
Okay.
Which is like, I didn't expect anything. Like I said, it was so random. And like, okay, back then it's only 15-second video.
Yeah. Okay, we still remember those days, right?
Right.
Super short.
15 seconds.
Yeah.
But what I can do, so I can spell for them, teach them how to pronounce it, and the meaning. But I think I put my personality there. I put some jokes in there within 15 seconds. And I feel like, okay, this is me 100% on the platform.
And did you already use the hashtag?
Already, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
On your like first video teaching English.
Yes.
Okay. And what was happening after
the
that?
next day, it went viral. I'm like, ooh. Let me try something more.
รู้สึกสวยขึ้นมาทันที ผมทัดถูเลยทีเดียว
I'm like, really? And then I said, okay, let me try something.
Okay.
So I teach another. So I created another video and even more viral.
ติดใจแล้วเถอะ
Just
Ooh, this is the taste of going viral. This is what it tastes like.
I know, right? I was like, oh my God, a lot of people request a lot of things. And I'm like, okay, let me do it. So, well, maybe because back then there's no people talk about this word and stuff, which is you can find easily on the series, movie, TV, right?
Yeah.
But it's not on the book. So
yeah, for a teacher to start it like talking or teaching. Okay, student, today I'm gonna teach you about the word bitch. No, that's not gonna happen like in classroom.
Exactly. And like I said, I told everyone I'm not a teacher. I'm not even a tutor or whatever. I'm just a person who like English and use English as a tool of communication and หากิน and everything. So I still make I feel I show them this is a real person who don't have a fancy background, but I use English as a normal person. And I make mistake every day, and that's how I enjoy it. And so this is what the message that I try to tell a lot of people that hey, just speak. It doesn't matter. Just enjoy making mistake. No one killed you from that.
I love that. Enjoy making mistakes. And that's exactly what we do all the time. Because we make mistakes and it doesn't matter, right?
True. I used to like, oh my God, they're gonna judge me. Oh my God, and all of that early days when I was younger. But after I finished all of my degrees and stuff, and I start using English in real life, I realized that, oh my God, it's a lot more fun. Like I talk to people, like white people, foreigners and stuff, they don't really like, what? No. Minus. No. They don't have that
ลืม
kind
เติม S นะ
of...
ไม่ได้ No.
So that's why I enjoy talking to stranger, to foreigner.
Yeah. That's good. Because actually, we kind of did the same thing at the very beginning of comedy. I kind of make my stand and my position that I am not a teacher and I'm not here to teach you like proper English. I'm just using it. And of course, I'll be making a lot of mistakes. ออกความออกตัวนั้นเนี่ยแต่ว่า that is like our real position.
Right.
And okay, this is not a teacher talking to a student.
Right.
But we're just enjoying English together.
Right. That's why I'm your big fan of your show.
Oh, thank you so much.
That's true. I grew up with that.
Yeah. Okay. So actually, you just mentioned you before the content creation life, right? You used to be in the education sector. What did you do before you became a TikToker ดาวติ๊กนั้น
I would say I was like a typical gay guy working in an office.
Okay.
Like Monday to Friday.
Office person. Okay.
And then, but I work in the improving or developing English for corporate clients. So, but I'm not a teacher. I would say I'm a salesperson who like at least I know how the language works.
Okay.
So that's why I can explain to my clients, to the HR people, like, hey, this is how you need to train your staff, and how long does it take? What material you supposed to use, or what kind of approach, what kind of teacher. So all of that, we're gonna come up with our service, and that's why.
But
so
is it like the exclusive, like professional English only that you were teaching?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I see. So yeah, I can imagine like how to like do a presentation or how to like negotiate for business, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's one case that I love it. Slaughterhouse.
Okay.
I'm like, wait, English for slaughterhouse? Of course, there's no such book.
Whoa.
English for slaughterhouse, like kill the chicken and all of that.
Slaughterhouse like โรงเชือดเหรอ
ใช่
Wait a minute. It's like what kind of English would they need at the slaughterhouse?
Exactly. That's why we have to go through all of that process.
Okay, so they just come along one day, ask your client, like asking you to give their employees the training of English at the slaughterhouse?
Yes.
Whoa. Okay.
And then we have to, well, that's why we went there, know what they're doing, and we walked through the slaughterhouse and see all of that process. Me and the teacher, I would say, we take note and we require some needs and all of that, and come up with the material, English for slaughterhouse.
Like customizing the English curriculum for them after studying their business and try to come up with their needs.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot to process. I mean, slaughterhouse is English I can see a book. Write a book about that. I mean, yeah, maybe it's very special and very unique on the bookshelf. Okay, so how did that go? Like that particular project?
It was fun.
Okay.
And it's 3-year project because, well, luckily, the people that we work with, they understand that English is not 1 or 2 days or 30 hours, but it's a long road of practicing and stuff. So they know that. So that's why we came up with 3 years project, and we see day 1 and the final year. A lot of people, well, they be able to give their presentation in English, walk through their clients with English slaughterhouse thingy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I would say it's a very unique experience. You can just like keep telling these stories. Like, this is amazing. Yeah. Okay. What else did you do like in this business before becoming a TikToker?
That's it.
Okay.
That's
like,
what I've
like
been
corporate
doing.
training is specializing in English.
Yeah, but I took a break during that journey as well. I went to Australia, Sydney.
Okay. You worked in Australia for a year, right?
For a year, yes.
Okay. Doing what?
Okay, I would say a lot of shit, but a lot of things.
Okay. You can say shit. Yeah, of course. Please say more. Yeah.
So
like random jobs or
I don't. Okay, here's the thing. I feel like I'm sick of Bangkok.
Oh, okay.
Because grew up in the city and work 5 days a week and all of that routine is kind of give me like, oh my god, I'm sick of this.
Okay.
So that's why I applied for work and holiday visa, and I get myself there to Australia, and I'm just being completely like, I can do whatever. Just give me a job.
Oh, okay.
That's it. So I start doing a barista, call center, beauty advisor. I would say BA.
Wow.
For like perfume, fragrances and stuff.
Like working at the mall?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what else? พนักงานเสิร์ฟ waiter, waitress.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And what else? Yeah, pretty much like these kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't have the exact plan of what you'll be doing in Australia. Just get yourself there and then just wait for things to happen and then just seek opportunities.
I just want to throw myself there.
Okay.
And then of course I want to make money. That's it. That's what my first goal. Like, okay, make money. And then that's why I work so hard. I work like a dog.
Okay.
I remember I worked 3 jobs in a day.
Wow.
But only once. I cannot do that ever again. I was dead like
too
no,
many.
I cannot. I cannot
too many,
do,
too much.
Yeah. So but I would say like when I was there, I can be not I can be, but I was like I'm not too much. I would say like in Bangkok you have หัวโขน and you have a lot of things that you have to like a certain thing that you can do.
Okay.
But in Australia I can do whatever, a shit job, a whatever job.
Okay.
But it gave me a lot of skill, I would say, and a lot of new experience and point of view, look at lives and stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm just no one. Don't be a bitch. Because before I'm like, oh my god, I'm so. Back then I was like, I was so good at English. I can't wait to get out of the country and use it. And then I was like, oh, what's that? At the immigration, Aussie. Yeah, I'm like, what? This is real life.
This is real world now.
I was like, let me look at my return ticket when. A year, okay. Yeah.
It could be very humbling, right? Like it kind of humbles you to like pull you back to the real world, like to the ground.
Exactly.
And like, okay, you're not that good yet.
Yes.
You still have a lot to learn. Yeah. It
was so
happens to me
confident.
too.
Yeah.
I used to think that my English is pretty good. I always get like all the A's, right? But it meant nothing when you get to the real world because people would not slow down for you to catch up. They can just like go at their like full speed.
Exactly.
And they would not wait for us to, okay, can you repeat that? Or unless you ask.
Right.
If you ask, okay, they might slow down for you or they would repeat things for you. But
right.
if you are not speaking up for yourself, you just have to like struggle.
Totally.
And I think that's what you do too for a whole year, struggling to
exactly.
Yeah. But I bet it could be like a year that would like get you to places that you never thought you would be, like in terms of like your English proficiency. Like
yeah. Well, back then I was so confident. I was like, okay, I'm gonna take this opportunity to get myself in a better place and things like that. But I didn't realize that everyone's speaking English there. But when you're in Thailand, it's kind of, I think it's a perk that you can take. Like, you be able to speak English. You will get more opportunity in Thailand.
I see.
Better money in Thailand and things like that. But in Australia, they don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Everybody's already speak English. Okay.
And the worst is call center. I'm like, I don't know. There's a lot of people, different kind of people that you need to talk to.
Right.
And some people are like, can I speak to Australian only? Hold on.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Did you get the call center job early on or later?
I think I arrived there like 2 months and I got that job because it's after Christmas time, and these company they call Christmas something. So it's all about hamburgers.
Okay.
The Gratau that I don't know this kind of business because in Thailand we don't have that.
Okay.
That you have to save up for the hamburgers throughout the year because Christmas is a big thing in other country, right? You need to give a lot of hamburgers to other people and things like that. But a lot of people they don't have that kind of budget at the end of the year and spend that much. So that's why these people join this program, like save up every like $5 in every like fortnightly. By the end of the month, you will get those kind of hamburgers and give it to the loved ones.
Okay.
I just knew that. So what I have to do is just like call them and convert them to, hey, your membership is already expired. You want to extend selling
I see.
membership.
Okay.
Yeah.
The reason I'm asking is because I remember being so scared of talking on the phone. When I first got to America, because it's one thing when you talk to someone like face to face.
Right.
You can like read their mouth
right.
or you can read their gestures,
exactly.
right? But talking on the phone, you didn't say anything.
No.
And it was so hard.
Yeah.
And you could feel stupid so easily. Like, oh God, I didn't catch any of those words. Yeah, it was so scary.
Right.
To just talk on the phone, right?
That's true. That's true.
But you did that.
Yeah.
Like, so brave. I might say, so brave.
Well, I have no choice. I have to survive. All of that expenses is coming.
Yeah.
Every week, not every month in Thailand. Every week, I'm like, whatever job I take.
Let me ask you this. Because I'm sure a lot of people who are watching right now, maybe they're thinking, oh, should I do that? Like, should I like copy his journey? Like, just get myself to a certain country and then just try to survive there. Looking back at what you did, was it a good plan? And would you do that again or would you change anything?
It was a good plan.
Okay.
I made the right decision because that changed my life a lot. I can tell that when I came back, I not completely different person, but in the better version. I speak my mind. I know what I want in life. And back then I was like, oh, okay, whatever the society say or whatever, I'm going to follow. But these give me like, no, I survived in Australia by myself. So now I know what I want in life and I'm going to go for that. But in a good way.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but if you guys want to do that, yeah, you can. But just don't be reckless.
Don't be reckless. Okay, and by saying that, you meant what? Like, what have you prepared yourself better?
When you when you join in a new place, new environment, sometimes it's kind of lure you into money, alcohol, all of that.
Yeah.
A lot of people enjoy that part, and maybe they forget their plans or goal.
Okay.
So just don't be that kind of person.
ความหลงระเริง
Exactly.
แสงสีและ
Exactly.
ใดๆ or like the kind of freedom that you have never tasted before.
Exactly.
Living in Thailand, and then when you go elsewhere, you feel like now I can do anything. Yeah, but not necessarily always a good thing or a healthy thing to the way to think.
Right.
You still have to be very careful, right?
I'm obsessed with white guys. Before, sorry, my fiance was.
I was about to say that. Hey,
And then when I got in there, I'm like, oh my god, pleasure white guys. Oh my god, so cute. Oh my god, so handsome and all of that.
หนุ่มออสซี่ฮอตนั้น
But okay, make money.
Okay.
Yeah. I would say that.
Wow, 1 year, a whole year can give you a lot of like perspective.
Yep.
And can change you as a person too. Okay, and when you came back, is that you decided to come back like okay, enough, end of chapter, and then I need to go to the next thing, or you were forced to leave because your visa expired.
Right now.
Okay.
I got a job offer in Thailand first. And then I'm like, should I? But okay, it's just only 1 year contract.
Okay.
Let's just enjoy it.
Okay.
And then after that, I can come back. Because the plan is only 1 year.
Okay. And then what was the job? What was the offer?
The same job.
Oh.
From the same employer.
Oh, okay.
But what is that? With a better paid and better position.
Okay.
Okay, let me do it. And then just only a year, I can go back to Australia. But after that, I met my fiance, and I never leave the country. I mean, I leave for some times, but not for good.
It can change your plans just like that.
I know. I love it.
Soulmate มาแล้ว เปลี่ยนทุกอย่างเลย
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, but it's okay because he's Australian too, right?
He's Indian.
Indian.
Okay. He's Indian.
All right, but I heard that you're gonna go back and get married in Australia.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, but because of his job, that he's an engineer, right? So he has a lot of opportunities where in Australia, in Europe, some other places. So we plan to stay or not end up, but maybe settle there in Australia somewhere because of his job. Because for the past 4 or 5 years, he sacrificed a lot for me.
Okay.
He got a lot of job offer throughout the years.
Yeah.
But he turned it down just because of me. Want to do this. Want to เป็นดาราอะไรเงี้ย
But you could be ดารา anywhere หรือเปล่า
I don't know. I was like, can I play one movie and one series and then we can go?
Okay.
Yeah, things like that.
Okay.
So I play one series. So I'm waiting for movie. It's like just a little bit. It's coming. Yeah.
But at least you could be ดารา on TikTok anywhere.
Yeah.
In the world.
Yeah.
But maybe you just fly back to Thailand like twice a year for series roles or for like movie roles. Yeah.
I wish I could do that.
Okay. We'll be talking about your fiance later, but I want to know if nowadays your like TikTok, your main job and your main platform now. So is that your like main thing?
Full-time.
It's
a full-time job right now.
Yeah. And we kind of heard about people doing that. I mean, like doing full-time on TikTok and
Right.
obviously it's very possible
Yes.
for a person to do full time on TikTok and live a very good life.
Right. I would say, well, here's the thing. I didn't expect this happening. And like I said, I quit my job because I want to do this full time. And I told my fiance that, okay, I need 3 months. Like give it a go for 3 months. If I make no baht or like 0 baht, I'm gonna go back to the corporate world and stuff.
Okay.
And then so it's getting better and better every day. And lots of gigs dealing the COVID time. A lot of gigs came and a lot of opportunities and
brand
things like that.
deals.
Exactly. Exactly. And that makes me grow as a content creator and also some other opportunity MC and what
Acting
else?
job.
Acting job
Yeah.
and advertising all of that
Review ใด
review ใดๆโฆษณาใด
ๆโฆษณาใดๆ So what did it take to when you say that you give it like 3 months and during those time I kind of imagine that you have to put up a lot of videos and put everything you have into this in order to prove that you can do this full time. So in detail, if you will, just tell us what you do exactly each day.
I work like non-stop 7 days a week and it came up a lot of content, a lot of what should I say and what should I play with the characters and all of that. I post like 3-4 videos when I first started and I make sure that it's gonna be a good and quality content for the English learner. And I'm keep telling that I'm not a teacher, guys, but let's do this together. And I always like, well, you know, a lot of people teach a lot of words already. For example, like telephone, right? A lot of people teach that already, but I add some story in that, role play, talk, or put some jokes in that, and people don't really like look at my videos. Like, okay, this is our telephone, but some people they look at, oh my god, this is funny. Oh my god, this is relate to me. Oh my god, oh this is a new word and things like that. So people look at my video, they get different things.
Yeah.
And that would keep me doing whatever I'm doing right now. And then I always come up with, I would say something that people related to. Thai jokes and all of that is so difficult to put it in English.
Yeah.
But okay, let me work through this. And then I came up with something and things like that. And then I changed it up a little bit sometimes. Like, okay, people know me as a content English content creator already, but is there something else that I could do? Tried it out. And okay, beauty blogger didn't work out for me. Okay, I'll stop it. I tried
But
so
you have
hard.
tried that.
Oh, so many times.
Yeah.
And then okay, that's fine. Okay, try to dance again. Okay, no, that's fine. And then okay, let me do some Starbucks thingy. Okay, people start watching it again. The graph of my career is just like this. It's not like this.
Yeah.
Roller coaster is like this. When you do something that the same thing so many times, people get bored, right? Even yourself. I don't want to teach this. I don't want to say this anymore, or I don't want to do this kind of pattern anymore. So the viewer as well. So they expect something else, something new. So that's why I keep doing something new all the time. Do the Starbucks. Okay, the Starbucks went well and change it up a little bit. Do some Thai joke content and all of that. So and right now I'm doing like more lifestyle. Share some like tips and tricks for Thai students who want to study where else. Since COVID is over, so I can travel around and hey guys, this is what is happening in other country and things like that.
Yeah.
So keep it new and updated, I would say.
This is so good and so useful for those of you who are considering a career as a content creator because a lot of people might have this kind of mindset that is all about finding yourself ค้นหาตัวเอง and once you find it it's gonna be good forever until you die that is not true
No.
that is not true it's full of ups and downs
Right.
and this is exactly what you have to go through you cannot expect things to like only go up and only like serve you as the center of the universe no you just have to go along with all the trends
True.
like what people are interested in at the moment
Right.
and stuff just like living your life you have to just keep trying things
True.
and I think what you have been doing can teach people a whole lot about the real life of a content creator especially
True.
like TikTokers because we follow them like crazy and we can see that they keep trying out things
Right.
and that's a fun part
right
Yeah.
right. It's life
it's life
it's not only content creator but I think it's applied to everyone so your life is cannot just be like oh better and better and better but it's just like this so it's life and as a content creator as well and well for me I know that this platform they want quality what you give it to people and as long as you producing all of that video like benefit to people or you give someone of course แสง will give it to you too
แสง will
ใช่
come your way เนอะ
ใช่ so that's what I think okay people are อยากจะแบบค้นหาตัวเอง so whatever like this is not what people want me or want to see me or look at my video and things like that but what do you give it to them if you produce good content benefit to someone the platform will give you แสง
yeah
everyone have the equal แสง seriously
Yeah.
and this platform you don't need to be a famous person or celebrity or things like that not only the platform but the audience they don't expect watching someone or something famous whoever give
Yes.
me something I listen I look I watch
Yeah.
I share yeah.
And I think this is very special thing that TikTok does. Like it can gives you like the leveling the field for everybody.
Right.
Yeah, you can like start at even the top tier celebrity
right
when they come to the platform for the first that they start like at the same point.
Right.
And it doesn't guarantee that their fame would help.
no
Not necessarily. Yeah.
No. Because, well, for the famous people, maybe they have seen you a lot.
Yeah.
But in this platform, they expect you to give me something.
Yeah.
Like
show
wanna
us your real
exactly,
self.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for those creators, just be 100% yourself. And Sang will give it to you. จริง
Yeah. Can I ask you if you have anybody else's as your like assistant or your team like or you do everything by yourself like editing, shooting, script writing and everything.
When I first started, I
Okay.
did everything by myself.
Yeah.
And then, so, by the year, we grow up and stuff. So I need more people to work for me, work with me as a content creator. But I cannot deny that I need some other people's thoughts as well. And for example, like a younger people, what they watch. I'm too old to understand that. Maybe what my feed is for me. Because that's the platform.
Yeah.
They looking for someone right for you. As a content creator, who do you talk to? They're gonna bring those people to listen to you and watch you and things like that, right? So in terms of the younger people, what they're watching right now. So that's why I need younger people in my team. Like, hey, tell me what they're watching. Hey, what they love at. Things like that. Yeah.
Oh, same here. That's why I have to like keep like recruiting all the like new guys and like
Right.
new interns.
Right.
Like 19-year-old, please help me.
I know.
Because I'm too old. Yeah,
I know.
I feel you. I feel you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, let's talk about some of your videos. Obviously, you have produced a lot of videos.
Yeah. This
For-
and that.
Yeah. So I was wondering if you have any like most memorable ones that you want to share with us.
I would say Starbucks. Because a lot of people
Yeah.
remember me from that.
Sure.
Like, oh, Starbucks,
Sure.
Starbucks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because sometimes I drove a lot of places and we get the footage, but we cannot use it. So we get to drink a lot of coffee in the day. So we want to make sure that our message, our purpose of the video is it's going to the right way, not like try to show something bad side of it, or like people not really like comfortable with that. So I would say the Starbucks video is take some time. Maybe throughout the day, I've been to like 4 or 5 Starbucks, and I didn't get any footage, or I didn't post it or whatever. So I would say that. And another video is like a funny video that ก็คนมันรวยอะจ้า
Yeah.
that
Buy the building.
by the building, by the mountain, by the sea, and all of that.
At full price too. Yeah, I like that.
So I lately I didn't do that a lot because it needs a lot of, I don't know, I would say like the magic moment. Because that's how I started. Like I see these, I'm like, oh my God, I want to buy these. But it came out naturally. So that's why it needs some time to create that. I try so hard to make it funny. Like, I came up with a dialogue and stuff. No, because people can tell. TikTok, people can tell when you fake it. So I rather like keep it to myself. Yeah.
And I bet a lot of people didn't know that. Like those who don't know, or those who have never done it by themselves, they might think like, oh, a 1 minute video. It maybe
Easy.
like production time 1 minute also. No, a lot
No.
more like goes into that.
For example, like on the other day, I went to the place that I speak English to the staff, not a drive-through, but like a supermarket and things like that. It took 2 hours to get all of that footage, and then send it to my edit guy, my editor, and then he spent like a day or two to like come up with the right scope of video, the message and everything. So, but yeah, it's only 1.5 minutes,
Yeah.
but it take days.
Yeah.
So it's not easy sometimes.
Yeah, fellow TikTokers would know. Like when we see people like scrolling too fast, like
I know.
it took me like 4 days for that. Like not so fast. Come back. Just take a few seconds to look at my videos, please.
Yes, like Ahsoka, Ayutthaya makeup trend right now. I joined that too. I spent like 12 hours to do that. And I cannot do makeup, so I have to hire someone to do the makeup. And so all of that, and I don't have that kind of big production, like the lighting and stuff. So I have to invest on that. And it's like 1.5 minute video, and I was like, what? Please, don't. I know there's a lot of people did it already, but please just hold.
We do that too. Just slow down. Man. And I heard that you travel and like do like taping your like trip also just to make like videos.
Right. This is a content creator life. Sometimes you cannot separate your life and your work life. Always like in the same line. So I've been to places for the last 2 years, like Australia, what else? A lot of places. And I always have a content lined up. My creative person, like, okay, they prepare all the like 30, 40 contents lined up. So I have to go there and shoot the video. So I didn't get to travel a lot. Like, okay, I have to go there because I have to go to that cafe. I have to go to these petrol, whatever. So in order to create the video, and it ended up like, oh, my trip is already over. I have to catch the flight tomorrow.
Right. And I would say it must be very fortunate to have an understanding fiance.
Exactly.
If he like makes a trip with you and you still have to keep doing this.
Yeah, credit. Because he a very a supportive fiance.
Yeah.
Whatever. I feel bad sometimes that, hey, I need to shoot this. Yes, let me help you. Yeah, let's go there. Oh, can we go there first and then we can do this and you can have more time to shoot. Is that okay? He always asks me questions and be there for me.
And you include him, of course, in your video.
Yeah. So that's what happened during the trip these days. Yeah. But it's fun.
That's the life of a creator, like TikToker. If you consider being one, this is what you might go through. Okay, so since this month is a Pride Month, so maybe we can go back and talk about you growing up. You look like someone who's very comfortable in his own skin right now. Yeah, but maybe it's not always like this, right?
No.
Okay.
Well, I was struggling a lot when I was like 9, 7, those days, young kids. And I don't know how to say this, but I would say the school is a nightmare for me because it's full of bullies and shit happens in the school, right?
And kids could be so cruel.
I know.
So mean.
I'm like, why? So, so people bullies a lot.
Yeah.
And then I cannot say anything because my parents, they didn't know.
Oh, so if you fight back or if you speak up, your parents would know.
Exactly.
So you have to like keep
silent.
Quiet.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
Yeah, I know. And I wanted to pick up the fight sometime, but I knew that what's gonna happen after that, the consequences and shit. Like they're gonna call my parents and they're gonna know like what I behave in the school and things like that. They're gonna know, oh, I'm a gay kid and I don't want to deal with that drama. And that's why I said, okay, I keep myself shut and just stick with girls, nerdy, and be. That's why I think a lot of กระเทยคือเป็น straight A student because you cannot do anything apart from like just pay attention to the classes and stuff.
And that goes on for how long? And
throughout my school life.
Okay.
Since I was like 7 up to like 15, I would say. High school is getting better.
Okay.
And
in which way did it get better?
Maybe because of the a group of people change. They it's like a young adult. They understand more that okay, we have gay friends in the class now and things like that. They're okay with that. But back then, younger kids, they don't really get it. They want to make fun of you.
Yeah.
They want to kick you. They want to like pull your hair and things like that.
Yeah. And it is not like they're like evil at the core. They're just being kid, right?
Exactly.
Maybe like the high schooler, some of the high schooler like, that used to be bullied, like looking back at their lives, they're like, oh God, I was being so shitty to you and I was so ashamed of myself now. Yeah, so things kind of get better in that sense for you. Okay. And when you enter the university life,
oh, it's much, much better.
Okay.
Because, well, when you get into the university, you pick your own crew. Like, for example, your faculty and things like that, it's going to be the same people. And a lot of gays in my faculty and my major. So it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. So I can be myself 100% there. But not 200% because my family, my parents still like, I don't know. You straight for me.
มันคือด่าน big boss ของบอกว่า a lot of gay people, right? That coming out to the family or
True.
should I come out to them or do I need to come out to them or what if I can keep this a secret like
Right.
all my life. So,
I don't like confrontation.
Okay.
So I never came out with my parents and things like that.
Until now.
I never.
Okay.
I just brought back then he's my boyfriend.
Okay.
I just brought him to my house and let them understand what is going on in the world.
Without having a formal talk, right?
know.
It's not like, okay, family time,
Yeah,
sit down,
no.
I have something to tell you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't need that.
No. Maybe I think because of my culture in my family, we don't really like, okay, let's sit down and talk. Oh my God. We okay. No. We just like, okay. Things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're super okay right now.
Right now, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Good for you.
Thank you.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay. So and of course, obviously, you have invited your fiance now to meet with your family. What you remember what was the first time like for them, like finally, eventually meeting each other?
For me, I'm okay. But for my parents, kind of like curious, and my mom said, "Sorry, mom, but she's being nosy and stuff." So, who is that? Is it your friend or is it what? And things like that. I'm like, you know.
Okay. So you didn't tell them in advance that
No.
this person coming to our house today is my boyfriend?
No.
Okay.
No.
Just let them figure it out.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. And
it took
they
some
did
time.
figure out. Okay. And after them figuring out things, did they have any talk with you or ask you any question?
They talk behind me with my sister.
Okay.
Like, oh, who is he? And my sister got okay. They're together.
Okay.
I'm
So
like-
so is your sister your good ally?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good thing.
Oh, they're together.
Uh-huh.
And then my mom just thought, oh, okay. But my dad was like, really?
Yeah.
And my mom started like, oh, my husband didn't agree. Okay. Oh, yeah. Is it? Is it good? My mom's just being
Okay.
typical Thai wife.
Just trying to be on the same team as the husband, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then my sister and my mom start talking, but he's a good person. He help out our family and things like that. And I don't think it's a big deal.
Nowadays, especially.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And my dad started like, okay. And now he's happy with my fiance.
That is so good. So, but what happened when you actually like told them that okay, we're engaged to be married?
I didn't know at first, right? Because we went on a trip to Japan, and I was sick for 5 days. Like I got flu or something.
Okay.
I stayed in the hotel, being sick for 5 days, and he planned everything already at the snow mountain and things like that with the photographer.
Poor guy.
I know, and I didn't know what's gonna happen. Right? I was like, oh, can you cancel this photographer guys, please? I cannot do it. And he's like, okay. And then until Valentine's Day, he's like, do you think you can do it? Like, are you okay now? I'm like, yeah, it's getting better. Okay.
Please drag yourself away from the bed and join me in all the plan that I have planned.
Exactly. And then, so we got into the place, and then it was like, okay.
You still had no idea what he was going to do?
No.
Okay.
No, not
Really?
at all.
For real? Like,
No, not at all.
Zero.
Because for me, he's kind of person who, he doesn't do this kind of thing.
Oh, okay. So that could be the best kind of surprise because you didn't expect this coming from a person with this kind of personality.
Exactly.
Ooh.
But I was drunk because I take a lot of medication throughout 5 days.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. Oh, wow. And I put the ring on my finger by myself.
หมดกัน ความโรแมนติกที่แพลนไว้
Oh my God. And then the photographer was like, okay. And then it took me like 7 hours, I would say, to like, oh shit, this
to
is
be
happening.
of like the drug
Yeah.
state.
Yeah.
God.
And then I remember that we got into the hotel and I was crying. He said, "Oh, what's happening?" I get emotional, but it's 7 hours ago. I know it just happened.
โถ
Yeah.
ยาเพิ่งหมดฤทธิ์ Okay so your emotion started to kick in like
know.
ooh that's supposed to be very emotional
True,
Okay.
true. And then my mom and dad was like, "Oh, congratulations," and things like that. Yeah.
Even at the most romantic time of your life it's still funny for you
I know.
but it's the best experience yeah
Yes.
wow and also it's a good story you have great story to tell for many years from now
Exactly.
oh okay all right so now that you guys are engaged what plans do you have from now besides going to Australia and getting married then
So we're gonna have a wedding party in Thailand next year in January, and then so this year in September or October, in beginning of October, we're gonna go to Australia and do the marriage certificate. Yeah, we're gonna do it there.
Yeah. And of course, we have heard about the news of Thailand
Right.
being on the verge of being the first country in Southeast Asia.
Right.
And the third in Asia, I think,
Right,
to
right, right.
legalize the same-sex marriage.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
I'm glad, and well, on top of that, I'm glad that Thailand gives a same-sex marriage, not some other bullshit certificate like partnership and things like that. No,
Yeah.
we need two-person, not only female and male get married, but we need two person in love each other and get married, like same sex. So I'm glad that Thailand did that, and it's happening, and
Like finally, right?
finally, exactly,
Because we're known for being like gay paradise for as long as I can remember.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like people coming here to enjoy like
True.
like gay life and stuff like that. And
True.
ซีรีส์วายใดๆ ซึ่งแบบว่า so famous
I know.
and like it's super worldwide now we also known for that like
Yeah.
as our new soft power if you will yeah
True. Yeah, I'm glad.
yeah
Yeah.
I'm glad too
Yeah, thank you.
wow okay so I asked this for all of my guests of course that since our show is called comedy แหละเพราะฉะนั้นก็เลยอยากรู้ว่า comedy ของพี่เติร์กคือคำว่าอะไร What is your most favorite word in Thai and in English too
Well, I would say it's life.
life
Yeah, sometimes we figure it out like why this shit happened to me, why and that, why this, why those, why that, but it's life. There's nothing much apart from like this is a part of your life, and yeah, it's life. Yeah, that's what I try to tell myself when I say, "Oh my God, why this happening to me again and again?" And things like that. So, okay, it's life. Okay, yeah, it happens and it will go away. Yeah, not stay there forever.
okay yeah
I
I
would say
agree
that.
I like your word a lot too
Yeah, thank you.
any word in Thai that you like
ฟังนะ
คือคำนี้หรือเปล่าคำนี้ฟังนะ
ฟังนะ คือ well I don't know maybe lately I speak this a lot like ฟังนะ maybe there's something after that but please ฟังนะ that's it
yeah
it's like okay listen up that's it grab people attention especially my team or my fiance like
yeah
ฟังนะไปล้างจาน
It's funny you should mention grabbing people's attention because that's what you do best on your channel, on your like TikTok videos.
Yeah.
Like, can I ask what's the secret of like grabbing people's attention within the first few seconds?
I would say that you need to consider first is the word, and the second is what they see. Maybe you've been sitting like this for the last 10 videos. So if they see you again sitting in the same place, they're like, okay, there's another video.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe you stand where else or doing something else, and the words you need to grab them attention like my do one oh don't miss this and things like that and blend with your content yeah
and in your own way of
in
course
your own way
and of course you need to keep trying things out if we learn something from Turk today is it's just like life if you want to create your video your content putting them on TikTok and you just need to keep trying keep finding new stuff at least what entertains you first and then you can entertain your audience
if you can laugh at your video so other people can too so.
Wow that is
a lot
so
of
good
well there are a lot of video that I didn't post like 200 drafts I would say I didn't post it because even myself I don't laugh at it so and I can tell that it's not there yet so I don't want to post it yeah
this is dedication I really like this okay thank you so much Turk for coming
Thank
to
you for having
comedy
me.
and I hope we can like do something together as like creators and creators
of course
in the future just go if you haven't already follow his TikTok at ภาษาอังกฤษหยาบๆ Turk Tk right Turk
yes
underscore TK
yes
all right so thank you so much
thank you ขอบคุณครับพี่
ขอบคุณครับ
จบแล้วเหรอสนุกอยู่เลยอ่ะขอบคุณค่ะขอบคุณค่ะ